little bit in terms of preventing a fourth from going up. Possibly an attack going in. Looks like there probably isn't enough yet to break that new base. And I think Buy Great will be well off just building up an army and then trying to take it out. Zealot's put some damage on that hatchery, but it's not going to do much. High Templar standing out there, catching the breeze and not getting killed off. And that Dark Archon, man, that's the total X factor. It's not going to do anything against this type of force. I mean, against Lurkers and Hydras, really, Dark Archon, you might as well have just two DTs. At least it might do some drone harassment. Looks like, oh man, almost losing that Corsair. That would have been embarrassing. Buy Great, going to go for Queen's Nest. Violet has gone for a new expansion. I mean, as long as Violet can keep it alive, though, he's fine. I mean, he hasn't suffered that much from going for the wrong composition. In fact, he's really not suffered at all. So right now, he's still okay as long as he doesn't do any more goofy things, like, I don't know, get some Arbiters or something like that, get Scouts. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. He should have some High Templar out, though, because there could be a big attack coming soon from Buy Great if he chooses to. There are some High Templar, so that's what he needs. It looks like his Corsair might finally get some kills here. And still a couple of Archons, Gateways going up. Standard otherwise, basically, other than the Archons, Dark and Normal. It's been pretty standard from the Protoss. I would say fairly standard also for Buy Great, although I'd say, relatively fast Hive without doing much damage. And I think it's a good decision, actually, because he's got Lurkers, and if he can handle his Darkstorm well, that's going to be very effective. +1 armor, by the way, for the Zerg player. Great. And I'm not sure what the Protoss is at, probably 1 or 2. Scourge everywhere. This is going to be good because it doesn't seem like Violet's got the best Corsair control. And we'll see. Violet here content at 3, and he's about even with Buy Great at 4. Buy Great right now focusing a pretty large army in the middle, and I think probably Violet would be smart to go for some sort of harassment, a shuttle drop of some sort, or some kind of fast speed lot attack. I don't know what he could do right now, but he needs to be on the offensive. Generally, the Protoss has to do it in the mid game instead of just expanding. It usually is not enough anymore. Just expanding. There is a robotic support bay. That's very good for endgame tech, in fact. Good against pretty much anything the Zerg offers the late game, especially with Dark Swarm. You definitely want to have those because most of your units some of your units will become useless. Oh, looks like High Templar are going to have to storm themselves. That's 2 dead High Templar. Man, that did not work out well for Violet. That was a very, very smart move there. That was a classic move there from Buy Great there. Nice sniping there, man. I mean, for like the price of 10 lings, you got 2 High Templar with all their storms inside of them. So that's a pretty damn sweet job. We've got +1 attack for the Protoss and 1/1 for the Zerg. So this means that Buy Great's actually ahead in upgrades. Generally, the Protoss have to be at least +1 ahead in attack to really. They shouldn't be ahead. They shouldn't be behind, basically, at all in any aspect. Buy Great right now, still content at expanding. He's picked up the upper left now, and now it is up to the impetus of Violet to go for an attack. But Buy Great already has Hive, so he's probably going to have cracklings. Oh man, Buy Great, so classy here with his moves. Damn, picking off another Templar, almost getting another one too. And these are throwaways for him. I mean, he has plenty of minerals, so he can afford to do this. Whereas obviously now the army of Violet's a lot weaker. Buy Great also has upgraded his range attack, too, for his Lurkers. So this is going to be pretty powerful. Oh, man, why is he getting more Archons? I do not know. I don't think there's enough Lings necessarily to warrant Archons at this point. I think he needs to just build High Templar and keep them alive. Violet does. He needs to stop fantasizing about big Archons, big balls of fire, and start worrying about, things that storm. But anyway, looks like we're going to have an Observer spotting a lot of Lurkers there in the middle. Mass Zealots are not good against Lurkers, mass Lurkers at least. A couple of Archons, that Dark Archon, which has done nothing so far, and a bunch of, Observers and Goons. This is a pretty powerful army from both sides, I would say. Really can't say who's ahead, especially with this viewpoint, because that is a large Protoss army that could certainly bowl over the forces of By Great if he isn't careful. Basically, Zerg does not want to attack from just one direction. They have to attack from multiple directions to make this work out. Speed Overlords out also. Man, these Lings doing a great job of getting another High Templar. Just 3 remaining. No more coming up, but no, not quite. Oh man, another one getting sniped, and this is just horrendous for the Protoss, for Violet. +2 armor for By Great. So Violet really needs to crap or get off the pot pretty much. He's now equal in upgrades with a 2-1. He is going to move forward here. Dark Archon leading the way and doing nothing. But he's there. He's like the big flag for him. Morale booster, I guess. Look, I got funny tech because I'm a interesting and creative player. Except I didn't do anything with it. So the Dark Archon rush has not worked out well for Violet, but we'll see. Not sure if he's even researched anything. He should have Maelstrom, I guess. There's the Ultralisk Cavern. Oh, there's the Maelstrom on an Overlord and 3 Hydralisks. That is not exactly the most effective thing in the world. Not exactly the most game-changing. Had he used it for feedback, man, that would have been a much better use. Feedbacking those Defilers. Like, what were you thinking, dude? Finally, you got the potential to use your units correctly, and instead you Maelstrom some Hydralisks. Nice. So, despite my disparaging of Violet's army, or Violet's control rather, his army is big enough that it could still do a lot of damage, still possibly win the game. We'll see what Violet can do here, and also what the skills of By Great are. By Great has an absolute ton of lurkers, and that could be deadly with the Dark Swarm, although there are now some Dark Templars and Reavers. Reavers deal full damage still under Dark Swarm, which is obviously very important. Oh, there's the feedback. Nice work there. So finally, Dark Archon doing what it's good at. Alright, here comes a lot of Zealots here moving into a Lurker field, but it looks like they might get surrounded from behind. However, they're doing a great job of fighting the army, which is divided in half now. But right now, I don't know where By Great is going. No, he's going straight for the reinforcements, trying to go in the middle, and there's a ton of Lurkers there. Great Dark Swarm, and this is might actually force Violet back. Violet once again way heavy on the Archons, and Archons are useless under Dark Swarm. They deal only splash damage. Oh man, they're getting ripped apart here. I have no idea what's going on here. This is a huge battle. Lots of cracklings getting in the mix, and it looks like Storm finally landing on some of these units. Man, Dark Swarm is not a good place to stand, though, man. He is in a bit of trouble. He's lost his army, and Violet is in not a good position at all. I think he should just go all Reavers at this point. That would be good. Oh, big Plague. Although, actually, no. That's just more impressive than it really was big. I only caught like 2 Zealots. But regardless, a lot of things following up and more Lurkers. Really, because he hasn't been able to take down By Great's ridiculous number of gas geysers, he is just going to not be able to handle all of this tech coming. Even though he has a lot of gas himself, Violet does. He has all the bottom right too. Even despite that, though, By Great still is able to use his tech more efficiently, it seems, or more effectively, because it doesn't look like we're seeing that much from Violet to counter it. Man, Overlord getting consumed there. Everything is just going in the gullets of these Defilers as they help this advance, this slow, inexorable push into the base of Violet. And Violet may be the second player to fall in a row for KTF at this point. He's desperately trying to mount a defense. Half of his units aren't even being used. Dude, use those Zealots, man. What is he doing? Violet is man, also hanging out with Fire Fist and the glue that they're all sniffing together. Fire Fist, Tempest sometimes, and Luxury sniff glue together, by the way, in KTF, in the KTF house. That's why they're horrible nowadays. Anyway, looks like Violet's been joining them in those glue sniffing parties. Oh no, he might finally be able to hold. But, well, I mean, if he can hold for long enough, he has a very good chance still because he has so many damn bases and should have a good, economy. But he needs to hold his front, and that's no easy thing to do at this point, given that there's Dark Swarms and units all the way in front of his base here. And he's not able to cope with this. He doesn't have Reavers in position. Looks like some Reavers are getting shuttled back, though. And that could make a difference. All right, here comes the counter from Violet. Let's see if he can make me eat my words here. But we'll see. It looks like, oh man, Ultralisk's coming out. I'm not sure if there is enough left. Those Reavers are decently protected, actually, under the Swarm. Although here comes the Ultras. They're going to be able to say something about that. Ultras just don't die, man. They need a lot of Reaver shots, and you need to have a lot of units protecting the Reavers. Doesn't look like there's any support units at all left.